In this concept, we're going to learn about angles. I like this funny picture over here. It says, if you ever get cold, just stand in a corner for a bit. They're usually around 90 degrees. I hope you're laughing right now. Complements and supplements. Complementary angles are two angles that add up to 90 degrees. Supplementary angles are two angles that add up to 180 degrees. Example 1. For an angle measuring 40 degrees, find its complement and its supplement. Okay, to find the complement, we're going to have to figure out 90 minus 40 is what? That gives us 50 degrees. For the supplement, it's going to be 180 minus 40. So now we can double check. 40 and 50 add up to 90, so those are complements. And 40 and 140 add up to 180, therefore they are supplements. Example, find the measure of each angle. So for problem A, I notice that these are complementary angles because they add up to 90 degrees. So I'm going to add 6x and 3x, set it equal to 90, and solve for x. Then I'm going to make a note that the question is asking me to find the angle measure. So x equals 10 is not my final answer. I need to plug 10 back up into the angles, and I can always check by seeing that they add up to 90 degrees. For part B, I notice that these are supplementary angles because they make one straight line. So I'm going to add them together and set that equal to 180. Solving for x, we get x equals 18. Again, we have to plug 18 back into those angles. And we can always check our answers by seeing that they add up to 180 degrees. Okay, I want you to pause your video now, and I want you to work these two problems out on your own, and then restart the video and check back and see if you got the same answers as me. How'd you do? Did you get the right answers? Just a couple of notes here. There's a few more steps in solving each of these once you have it set up, but just remember, combine like terms. So add your x's together, add your constants together. Always start by moving your constant over first. So where it says 5x minus 5 equals 180, I added 5 over, and then I divided by the 5 that's with the x. Angle units. The most common unit for measuring angles is the degree. I'm sure you have heard of degrees before and you've used them in geometry. A complete rotation of a ray gives an angle whose measure is 360 degrees. So pretty much all the way around a circle is 360 degrees. Likewise, 1/360th of a complete rotation gives you one degree. We're going to learn a new way to talk about degrees that aren't whole numbers. So what if you have like 20.37526 as your angle? You know, that's kind of hard to talk about as a decimal. So we're going to use minutes and seconds. 1 minute is 1/60th of a degree. So that means that 1 degree, one small degree on a 360-degree circle has 60 minutes in it. 1 second is 1/60th of a minute. So now take one of those tiny, tiny minutes, and it's got 60 seconds in it. So our notation for minutes and seconds looks like this. Minutes will be denoted with an apostrophe. So see, we have 1 with a tick mark up high, and then 60 with a tick mark. So that's how we show minutes. And seconds will just have 2 marks like this. My example at the bottom here shows that 12 degrees, 42 minutes, and 38 seconds is represented like this. Again, this is just another way to talk about a degree, a specific degree. We're going to learn how to convert between decimal degrees and degree minutes seconds, shortened as DMS. So first of all, on the left, we have our steps to convert degrees, minutes, seconds to decimal degrees. So first of all, you kind of want to write it out like this. You want to have your degree, and then some space, and put your minute, and then your second. And then we're going to leave the degree the same. so this part won't change. Then we will convert your minutes over into a decimal, and then we will convert your seconds over into a decimal. After all parts are converted, we will just add those pieces together and write our final answer as decimal degrees. On the right, we have the steps to convert angle measures from decimal degree to degree, minutes, seconds. To do this, we're going to convert our minutes. So we'll take the decimal portion and we'll multiply by 60. Then we're going to convert our seconds, take the decimal portion and multiply by 60. And then write our final answer as degree, minutes, seconds. Make sure we label it with the correct notation. Example 3. We're going to practice converting between decimal degrees and degree, minutes, seconds. So part A, we have 46.2 degrees. So this is in decimal degrees. Our directions for this are on the right. So we're first going to keep the 46 the same. So that's going to be 46 degrees. And then we need to convert the decimal, the 0.2, into minutes. Our steps, step 1, says to do that, to convert to minutes, we're going to multiply by 60. So take 0.2, multiply it by 60, we get 12. Since that's a whole number, we're pretty much done. That's just going to be our 12 minutes. So our answer is 46 degrees, 12 minutes. If we had a decimal with the 12, then we would have had to go to step 2 and move on to converting that decimal to seconds. We'll see an example of that later. Okay, for part B, we're starting with the degree, minutes, seconds. So I'm looking on the left side now of my steps. I probably should have flipped those for ease, but it'll be okay. So step 1, we're going to convert minutes and seconds to degrees. So I'm just going to kind of rewrite this equation right here with the parts of my problem. So I'm going to bring the 74 down, and then I have 8 over 60, and then I'm going to have 14 over 3,600. I'm going to go ahead and do those calculations. Remember, our directions told us to round to the nearest thousandth. That's 3 decimal places. And then I'm just going to add those together to get a final answer of 74.137 degrees. Now I want you to pause the video, and I want you to try these 2 problems on your own, and then restart the video to check back with me and make sure that you got the right answer. Okay, so I think of the 2, the first one might have been a little tricky because whenever we found our minutes, we didn't get just a whole number. We had decimals left over. So I took that 0.02 and I brought it down, and now I'm multiplying it by 60 to convert it to seconds. We want to use whole numbers here, so I approximated 1.2 to be 1 second. Next, we're going to add and subtract degrees, minutes, seconds. So first of all, our first step is going to be to write the problem as a vertical problem. And then starting at the right, where if we're going to add, then we may have to regroup so that your minutes and seconds are less than 60. To subtract, we may also have to do some borrowing. So this might take you back to 4th grade math a little bit. In the end, write your final answer as degrees, minutes, seconds with proper labels. Okay, for example 4, problem number 1, the first thing I'm going to do is rewrite this as a vertical problem. So I put one of the values on top and then one on bottom. Now we're just going to add straight down. And we get 83 degrees and 75 minutes. Now we are going to have to regroup here because 75 minutes is more than 60 minutes. So if we've got 60 minutes, we're just going to make that a degree. So I'm going to take 60 minutes out of the 75 and bump it over into the degree category so that I'll have 84 degrees. So if I do that, I've got 84 degrees now, and then 75 minutes, take away 60 minutes, leaves me with 15 minutes. Okay, problem number 2, we're going to do the same thing. Let's set that up vertically. Now notice that I don't have any minutes on the top. In order to do my subtraction, I need something up there that's more than 12 so that I can take that number and take 12 out of it. So I'm going to have to regroup the 90. I'm going to take 1 degree from the 90, which will leave me with 89 degrees, and I'm going to put it over and make it 60 minutes. So again, I rewrote 90 degrees as 89 degrees and 60 minutes. Now I can go ahead and subtract the two. And we get 16 degrees, 48 minutes. Problem number 3, we're going to go ahead and set that up vertically. This time be careful because our second value doesn't have any minutes, it only has seconds on it, so I kind of left a space there where the minutes would go. We've come across the problem again where we can't do 45 minus 50 in this situation. We need to have more seconds on top than there are on the bottom. So I'm going to regroup again, but this time I'm going to hop over and look at the minutes. I'm going to take one of those 16 minutes and move it over into the second category as 60 seconds. So instead of 16 minutes, I now have 15 minutes, and instead of 45 seconds, I've added on 60 more seconds there. So now we can go ahead and subtract each column. Our final answer is 71 degrees, 15 minutes, and 55 seconds. Okay, it's your turn. I would like you to pause your video, try these 2 problems on your own, and then check back to see if you got the right answer. Okay, check and see how you did. If you've got any questions, make sure you ask.